We're looking at, for those that are kind of just joining us, at this point in time, we're kind of starting a small little series where we're going through and we're looking at the Shadowlands stuff for the most part. At this point in time, we've already looked at the Kirin, or one of the 4 Covenant races. We're going to look at the second one today, and then we're going to go and look at the next 2 in the next couple of days. Let's see. Yeah, Bill. As far as the XP buff, that did get extended, and then for the rep buff, that's going to be starting tomorrow. And Angel, how are you doing? All right. So as far as this goes, something that I've learned here is that we can actually make this much larger. There we go. So if we spin this around, so this is tier 1. We'll call it a cloak for now. So it has that spine look to it. Now that we can kind of see it close up, I like that. Has a little bit of a spine to it. What I'm curious of, and I would imagine that they would, is that your pieces here are probably going to have some sort of color variance based off the set that you're using. But yeah, all in all, I think that looks really nice. I don't have too much to say about it other than that. I mean, it looks nice. We'll see what it looks like with the other stuff put on it, but let's see if we go back down here. So this one's probably my favorite. Let's see if we put this in the model viewer. We'll put this guy down here. Like this, to me, I think I'll probably end up putting the DK in the Necrolord category. Like that, to me, is really, really well done. It almost makes the third one look anticlimactic, to be honest. Like this is nice. See, I like it too. Yeah, this by itself makes me want to bring the Death Knight over, and I guess probably the Warlock as well, but definitely the Death Knight. So they did a really good job with that. Honestly, one of the things I thought would be neat is, if you're able to go through and upgrade it, upgrade your different tiers to a certain degree. Whether you put your armor on these legs and stuff like that. But I think that might be a little bit far-fetched for the time being. But man, it looks nice. Make that bone too. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to have different color variations that you can throw on your different color suits. We'll get to those suits here in a second, though. I wish that base wasn't metal. I kind of, I was about to say, I kind of like the fact that it is. I guess for non-plate classes, it might look a little bit off. But talk about like making it bone as well. Possibly. Let's see, I like it, but it looks funny on a naked guy. Let's see, I wish they would open those wings a little bit more. But looks cool anyway. Oh, okay, like maybe what they could do is give it a little bit of movement. In the sense, like maybe it stretches and it flexes and it's it spreads itself out like they were wings or something. That's not bad. That, like I said, that looks really good. I'm excited about that. Just to go through and imagine it on the DK. All right, so the third tier, and this one throws me off a little bit unless there's like some sort of special glow, or unless there's some sort of special anything with it. What makes me wonder is that this one has movement to it, whereas the other one doesn't. So I do wonder if the other one's static. Let's see, Warlock tier 6 shoulder treatment. Yeah, exactly. Where maybe if you jump, they come out like that. This one, it's nice. I don't think it's as good as the second tier, but it is nice. I think, like, say for example, if I was if I had a Warlock and I had the DK would keep his tier 2, but the Warlock would have this. So maybe that's a little bit there. Let's see. I don't like the progression. It doesn't. Yeah, I kind of went. It kind of. Yeah, it kind of throws me off. Like, whenever I was looking at this, like I get the bones, right? Like it's necro. It's it's raising the dead. It's using the dead. I don't get the crystal, and maybe I'd have understood the crystal if it was there was a little bit of here. Like, say for example, if these claws at the end of these bones, the tips were crystals. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Maybe here, maybe the tips of these were crystals. Maybe the spine was made out of a crystal. But also, we have bone here. We have a little bit of wood, a little bit of metal, a little bit of bone. And then we have a lot of metal. Then we have a lot of bone. And then the metal's gone, and there's just bone and crystal. Like, yeah, I do agree. Like, there seems to be a disconnect there. And maybe they're trying to make the jump like you would see from like normal, heroic, and then that big jump to mythic. But I just don't get the crystal. Maybe we'll see that in the tier sets coming up. But I do see what you're saying there. Let's see. So Necrolord tier 1. Let's look in the model viewer here. I'm gonna go with the Night Elf for now. Just because I play a Night Elf, so we'll do it that way. Maybe it's Crystallized Souls. Maybe, but it would be neat to see that on a... Here, we'll zone back this way. It'd be neat to see that on... What do we call that? On the other pieces as well, like the tier 1 and 2 pieces. This looks good. Just looking at this looks good. A bit too bulky, in my opinion, but looks promising. Really? No, I like this. I do. I guess this is your plate too. I should mention that. But my goodness, I wish I could switch this to take, because this is your rank 1, right? This is your tier 1. I wish I could put the tier 2 on the back and take a look at that. I'll go back and look and see if I can. But one thing as I go through and I look at this is that let's take a quick look at the helm. I do kind of wish that you could have an option as a Night Elf to remove the ears and just assume that they're tucked into the helmet. I'm not a big fan of that, where you have the massive ear clipping. I guess it's a minor detail. It's not too important, but it's there. I understand clipping is essential, or sorry, clipping is going to happen, but I don't know. It takes away from it a little bit, but I mean the set itself looks really good. Let's see. Yesterday we were talking about how the plate pieces wrap around too far. This one seems like it wraps around pretty well. That's not too bad. The belt seems to be at appropriate height, give or take. Boots, I don't see too much clipping. I do like the colorization. I do like the fact that there's bones in the bottom, and then there's plate as well, but they're encased in bone. It's, there's a lot of like bone outlying. Being plate, I would have liked to see something around the fingers, but it looks, I think it looks good. Yeah, that's not half bad at all. Let's see. Looks like a spooky spooky pumpkin. So yeah, that's not bad. Are there any? Let's take a look at a small race and a large race. Let's yeah, I was trying to see if there's some sort of tier 2 back piece or cloak we could put on there. Let's see what it looks like on a Volpera. Volpera's, your small races are always going to have clipping. You're never going to get out of that. So I kind of half expect that. However, I don't think clipping in the face is a good thing. So that right there, I think would have to be addressed. Hang on, I'm going to have to pause this. There we go. I want to keep his motion still for the moment. But that clipping of the helm and then the faceplate through the nose, I think they need to get rid of that. either extend the helm, cut off the nose, do something, but that's not good. That doesn't look good. Let's see. But again, with your smaller races like this, it's really hard to avoid clipping all together. You know, you see that in the shoulders of the helm, stuff like that. I get that. That's not a big deal. Let's see, as far as the belt height, the leg plates along the side, those look nice. I mean, all in all, it looks like plate armor. Like I do like the overall look. Maybe for the sake of scaling, maybe tone back the horns compared to the shoulders, the helm horns to the shoulders, but that's just, you know, preferences at that point in time. Chris, good morning. How are you doing? Never understood why the ears poke through the helmets. In my opinion, it would be easy to lose them in a fight. Yeah, it would be, you know, as Warcraft continues to progress, I think we could get to that point where when you wear like a we'll call it a top hat. You don't lose your entire hair. You know, like say for example, if there's a headpiece from Scarlet Monastery that if you put it on top of your night elf, regardless of the hair that you have, you go bald in the back. That I think that stuff like that could be addressed. But yeah, if there's anything for the smaller race, that clipping there needs to go. Let's see. Let's take a look at the Tauren and see where we stand with that guy. So this one's going to be tough in my opinion because yeah, you got horns and you got more horns everywhere. Let's see, is there any clipping in the face? No, that they did good with that one. There's no clipping in the face there. The horns coming out, that looks good. That's really well done. Proportionally speaking, it does seem like I like the way the helm horns here are compared to the shoulders, as opposed to the Vulpera. The Vulpera is just like way, the helm's so much larger than the shoulders. It just seems disproportional. By the way, the Vulpera had its ears tucked in. Oh, that's good. You're right, Vile. Alright, so kind of keep a mental note of this. The Tauren does lose the shoes, unfortunately, but maybe one day they'll get boots. We'll see. Alright, so let's go. Let me go back to the Vulpera, because that's a good point. So now if we look at the helm, it just seems like it's too big compared to the shoulders, you know? But of course the clipping there, but you're right, yeah, the ears are tucked into the helm. So they could do that with the Night Elves if they wanted to, I think. But again, you know, with the color of the armor, it matches the color of the glow effects. The effects themselves are really, really well done. Like it just looks necrotic. As far as the glow and everything, that's nice. It does match the gem, so that's nice. Okay, all right, so that's one. I guess, can I win? Maybe. You know, I still agree with what you're saying in the sense that there's no, you know, progression here. But the this back piece on this plate set, that would be all right. Let's see. Oh, there is tier 2. Well, dang. Okay, well, there you go. So let's look at. All right, so let's look at that. Sorry guys, I missed that. All right, so we're going to go to Night Elf. I just want to see it because I think it looks really good. I think it would anyway. The colorization, I don't know if I kind of like it. You know? Like I'd kind of like the bones to be the same color. Because your gem's going to be the same color as your glowing effect. So it only kind of makes sense that your bones are the same color as the other bones, but maybe not. You put a Nightborn. Wait. All helms seem kind of big too on the Vulpera, to be honest. They do. I think the glow would go really well with that. I think as well. I did expect the shoulders, or sorry, the cloak to be a little bit bigger, but I mean it's not bad. That looks good. You said Nightborn, right? Okay, so let's take a look at Nightborn. It's not bad. It's a good proportion as far as the horns and the everything go. Um, Again, the bone color throws me off a little bit. Even to a certain extent, like the plate piece here doesn't really match the other plate piece. So I don't know. It feels disconnected. Now, proportionally speaking, yeah, I agree, Happy. It looks really good. It would be neat, like if you jumped, if the wings spread out, similar like what we were talking about earlier with the Warlock tier, and this stuff had some sort of moving animation to it. That would be kind of neat. But the coloring is what's throwing me off with this more than anything else. Because Vale had said something earlier as far as like it matching plate, or the plate being bone instead. I think after seeing it now on plate, I kind of agree with that. In the sense that maybe just make the whole thing bone, as if you pulled the whole skeletal piece out and you wore it yourself, and then make it the same color as the other bones. But there does seem to be a disconnection here. Maybe that's part of the lore. I'm not sure, but there does seem to be a disconnect a little bit between the color. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so let's take a look at the tier 3 with the plate set. It looks like there's not gloves on it yet, so they might get to that here in a little bit. We'll keep it Nightborn, that's fine. Oh, there are. Okay, here we go. So, there's our gem. That looks good. Again, the bones are a different color, so that's kind of off-putting. But the gem, I think this, as of now, in going through and seeing this to me looks better than the tier 2. And that's just because of colorization. The gems here, the stones, gemstones, I guess, they match the animations from the shoulders, but the actual bone color disconnect, that's throwing me off a little bit. Let's see, that pulls it in, and together it does. Yeah, it does. That matches really well. Maybe seeing a little bit more of the gems in the other sets to kind of, like Ken Wynn said, build that progression to this would not be a bad idea. But the colorization, I think, maybe a tad bit of harmonizing there. Val says, I don't like it. Really? What about it that you not like, Ken Wynn? It doesn't seem to match. Now, match as far as color? I like the idea. Oh, color-wise? Background doesn't go with the rest of it. Yeah, but in what aspect? Like in color, or as in like the bones, colors? Okay, alright, yeah. So colors I agree with. I think colors need to be worked on a little bit. Even the green and the green of the glowing effect and the green of the crystal, yeah, maybe touch up on that. It doesn't seem to be a one-for-one type thing, so I agree. So if anything with this, I would say touching up the color, maybe put something gem-like in these other two pieces, your tier 1 and tier 2. So like you said, I think the progression is really, really important here. I don't know where you'd want to, maybe you could put like on this one, for example. Oh, here we go. Maybe on this one. Nice. Let's see, if you go through here. you could put like the gem on the little tips of the spikes or make the gems the spikes themselves. But yeah, some level of progression there I think would be not a bad idea. Let's see. So that's not bad. All right, so that is this one. So we have tier 1. Okay, so this is where we're going to get into where are we starting. This also might make a little bit more sense. I already see what's happening here. Hang on. That whole like one shoulder is as much larger than the other kills my OCD. Let's see. That looks so nice. But the fact that it's on one side kills me. Let's see. Konzo Lines, how are you doing? Tier 3 with the armor seem match. Yeah, as far as color, I do agree there. Also, tier 2 backpack fits better with the leather. Okay, all right. We'll get to the leather here. This is tier 1. Hang on. Let me start. That way we can have a one-to-one comparison. Let's start with a night elf. That way we have our proper dimensions here. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. So this is tier 1 plate set. I'm gonna wait for that to go away. There we go. I like asymmetrical shoulders. Oh, I like asymmetrical shoulders. Looks bad. Wait, you do it? You do like it, Andy, but it looks bad, or you don't because it looks bad? Let's see. I've never liked shoulder one-sided. No, I don't either. Like for male, I kind of get it because you're a hunter and you know you have that one shoulder forward. That's your protection. Oh, in that context. Okay, all right. So that's what we're going for. Thank you. Yeah, Val, I do get that. For plate, I feel like you're right. It should be matching shoulders. Like your bow armor is free. Okay, yeah. Like this, the whole one shoulder thing I get for male. Plate, not as much. But the set itself, I think I like that. I do. You can always mix and match stuff as well. One thing I'm not a fan of is, you know, you get to a whole tier set and your fingers are exposed for plate. I've never been a fan of your tiers 1 being a poverty suit. And you know, if they can't put little armor pieces on your fingers, I'm not a big fan of it. It does seem like very sparsely armored with plate, so that theme does kind of carry through a little bit. I just think this would look really, really good if the shoulder were just matching. If you had a left and right shoulder for plate, this would bring it home. This is not bad. The whole thing on the back, there's a little bit of clipping there. I don't know what you could even do for that, but no, all in all, that's not bad. I really don't like the shoulder on one side type deal for plate anyway. Pally can look like a DK now. Yes. Yeah. And that's I actually like that. It gives everybody their own class fantasy, you know? Where your paladin doesn't have to be a harbinger of the light. I think I'm saying that right. But yeah, I kind of like that. Let's see if we go back to this one. So that's your tier 1. This is your tier 2, where they're going through and they're throwing your shoulders on the back. You're still stuck with, whoops, all right. You're still stuck with one shoulder. I don't like that. The more that I'm seeing it, the more I'm convinced I don't like it. Yeah. It being the shoulders. Like I said, it works well with male. It does not with plate. Your plate should armor up a little bit, and yeah. Again, though, with the matching colors, would be nice. Would be nice if it did match. Even on your tier 1 and 2 shoulders, even on your tier 1 and 2 plate set, you're starting to see that crystal, that necro essence, that glow. Would be nice to see that on the tier 1 and 2 pieces, because I do think Kenwan had a really good point with the progression in seeing that essence go from more bone than crystal to more crystal than bone. I do like that. Let's see, reduces the shoulder 5% to fix clipping and duplicate it all over. If you want one side bigger than the other on plate, it should be near the forearm, like a shield. Yeah. The reduction of the shield size, or the shoulder size, for a Night Elf, it looks like, might not be a bad option. Let's look at this on an orc. Let's see how bad the clipping is on an orc. Because usually your shoulders are pretty large on those guys. I don't think the helms usually, whenever we're going through and we're switching stuff, there's a lot of clipping, like the ears here and stuff like that. We'll see what happens with it. But if we look at the back, yeah, you might be right. Either that Serenided is, or push the shoulders out just a little bit. You're probably going to get a lot of clipping with the bones and stuff like that coming out, and I don't think that's a big deal. But whenever the body of the piece is clipping with another body of another piece, kind of a rough look. So yeah, maybe I'd push the shoulders out a little bit, or like you said, maybe reduce the size a tiny bit. Let's see. Yeah, pieces just don't match correctly. Yeah, so I agree with you guys in the sense that color-wise, it's not matching well. Similar to what I think it was Kenwan or Vale said earlier, maybe make this whole piece bone that's similar to this, and then put those crystals in it. But yeah, color-wise, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that at the moment. Textures and colors seem like it's two different artist styles. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So a little bit harmonizing between the styles, the colors. I think that's a good way to put it. Let's see. So let's look at tier 3, which is just, it's more of the same. Hang on. Sorry guys, that was Mel. Okay, that was Mel. I was thinking tier 1 plate. Okay, sorry, this is Mel. So this makes, as far as the armor on the fingers comment, that negates that. The shoulder on one side comment, that kind of negates that as well. Okay. Alright, so this, what we've been looking at for the past couple minutes is Mel. That's my bad. Alright, so we're having plate there. What I was looking for was similar to the other Covenant, was different colors. But when they're saying tier 1, 2, and 3, they're just applying the back piece to it. Now the same thing still applies as far as the color and whatnot. Yeah, I get that, but we're talking about two different things, right? That's what I see as well. Is, yeah, they're the armor functions and the armor aspects are a little bit different, but they make more sense. But again, similar to what you're saying, is that the color between the tier 1, 2, and 3, like if we just go back and say these pieces, I think these need to be a little bit more harmonized with your sets. So let's take a look at leather then, because I was under the impression that your actual set itself was changing similar to the way Kieran was, and now I'm a little bit thrown off now. Alright, leather. I got a sneak peek of this before, and like I said, I'm a little bit let's see, let's go with Night Elf first, just so we can do a 1-for-1. I'm a little bit OCD when it comes to matching shoulders, but I really like this. I do. Like, that is everything, because your leather is stuff that used to be alive, right? I like this. I do. Now I don't know if I care for the painted on. What do we call that? The painted on liquid effect. I think that should be something that runs down the armor, or has a 3D effect to it, or because if I'm like, hang on, let's see, let's do it this way. If I'm like this, or I'm like this, the whole liquid stuff is kind of one and the same. So like to see something dripping out of that little socket, or bubble, like that bubble effect, that's really cool. The bubble makes it drip. Like, to see that is really neat, but I like it. Try it on a bigger race. All right, so let's take a look at that. Let's look for any sort of clipping. The Night Elf ears are gone here. So it looks like they wrapped them in the helm for the leather set. It could be, obviously, still in development. This is something, before we switch, this is something I really like here. Having the bones stick out. Like I said, leather comes from living things. And having those bones in the leather, having some sort of bolted feature to keep it all together like that, I think leather did really well this time. They did. They did really well. Kenwan's saying the back is clipping. As far as that, yeah, it does clip a little bit. Yeah, it does. So either the back piece needs to go farther away, the shoulders need to be moved around, reshaped a little bit. There is a little bit of clipping there. All right, so let's see. So we want to say make it on a big race. Let's take a look at the Tauren. We haven't seen the Tauren yet. Not bad. There's a little bit of clipping in the helm and the horn, but that's all right. I do like the fact that there's the arm coming out there. Given its position, maybe a little bit of movement would be nice. To see the arm reach for something every so often, or clench its fist in anger, or maybe pull on the horn over here. To see some sort of life in this gear in that manner would be kind of neat to see. Because like I said, leather comes from something that was living, so that whole necrotic thing here, you could just lose your mind over. You can just go through and do a lot with it. A lot of that's really nice spacing. As far as the shoulders and this back piece, that's nice. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm glad there aren't two arms, one on each side. Yeah. The difference here, it does seem like it came from like one or a piece, kind of like pieced together. The difference is, it would usually drive me insane, but I think this is just really neat. Like I said though, it would be really neat to see that arm move, in my opinion. That clipping from the Night Elf is totally gone from the Tauren. Yeah, it is. Let's see how this looks on a smaller race. Let's go to the Vulpera. Tiny bit of clipping, but not bad. Like that's livable. That's very much livable. It looks good. It looks good. I like it. I thought, whoever decided to put bones on the forearm like that, job well done. That's really good. We haven't spent a lot of time on the legs. It does look like there's some horns and some things that come out of it. Let's see. there's a lot of activity with the helm, the shoulders. Not much going on with the belt and the chest. Like that whole central area like this, there's not a lot going on. A little bit maybe mundane there, but I mean it's not bad. Like it's one of those things where, you know, your shoulders would get a solid 9 or 10, but your middle piece here, like you would, I could see like these shoulders being transmogged on everything, and everybody kind of forgetting about the rest of the transmog. So chest piece and whatnot, a little bit plain, but you know it matches. Not a big fan of the helm. I like it. It's very like pieced together, you know. I don't mind it. Caliente says, "What if the hand on the other shoulder waves?" That's good. I like that. That's a brilliant idea, Caliente. Like if you walk by someone, especially if it's undead, it waves at the undead. Yeah, waving, clenching of the fist, tugging on, you know, trying to reach for the horn, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, this is good. Oh, you're right, Val. This would look good on undead. Let's look at that. Just 1 second. Let's just enjoy our time. I know we're taking our time, but let's just enjoy it. This is fun. Oh yeah, look at that. That's good. Like I said, I would like to see a little bit more oozing animation in that fluid form. Like to see it slowly pour out. So what I'm talking about is that spot right there on the shoulders. It seems really static. I don't know, maybe like a constant slow ooze. We're just trying, you know, more or less drips off into nothing. This one here, maybe if that little ooze, like that material, if it swung a little bit, like if it had like a little bit of life to it, you know? That looks good. I like that. Clipping wise, nothing. We're doing good there. That's nice. Let's see. Naokai. If I'm saying that right, am I the only one who thinks this is one of the worst sets Blizzard has made in Probably so. Like this, I actually like this. Yeah, you might be one of the few at the moment. Now, they're still working on various aspects of it, and that's kind of why I'm doing these reviews. Is that, you know, maybe providing some level of feedback, whether they ever see it or not. You know, that's another thing. But let's look at it with the model here. Bone color is going to match? I don't know about that. It's close. It's closer. I'll give you that much. It is closer. This matches, like that metal plate piece that we were talking about earlier. It does match with the forearm, with the belt. Like this makes a lot more sense. I don't know. I don't know if they'd be willing to pull this off, but I feel like your tier pieces should match your sets. I think what they're trying to do is go with a template format and say, okay, this is tier 1, but this is tier 1 for plate, for leather, for cloth, for mail. And I don't know if that's working as well. Because I would like to see that, like that same corruption here on this. Like the oozing and the stuff like that. Like that would be something that I would like to see on the leather side. Because right now it just, like we were talking about earlier, it just seems very disconnected. And I think the reason it's disconnected is they try to take a shape that's going to fit into a round, square, rectangular, and triangular hole. And they're trying to say, okay, well, if we just make the piece small enough, it fits in regardless. And I don't know if that's the best tactic to take for this. Because the sets themselves look really good. But it's what's taken away from it is the back piece. On all of them, really. Like, every time I've been watching chat, every time we go through and we talk about this, it's people aren't really caring for the back piece. Not yet. What's that? All right, so we're good there. Now guy says, I'm very glad that people are enjoying it, honestly, but for me the whole design just feels weird. And that's fair. I mean, in some people it takes a little bit more time to grow on, and other people, you know, if it's just not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But no, I mean, there's little bits and pieces of this that I think are looking better than others. Like this right here, we can already see where this is going to go. The back piece just is completely disconnected. The bones are different color. The gem, the corruptions, all it's different. It's like it would be one thing to see these gems covered in this ooze, or it kind of have like a like, say for example, this swinging thing on the shoulders here. If he stops moving, like to have this stuff all over these back pieces as they're connected, something like that, but to carry that theme. But I think what they're trying to do is make a template piece and it fit for everything, and it's just for the flow of it all, it's just not working. It's a it's a gym bag. That's tier 3. Yes. Yeah, the backpack just doesn't go with the sets. Yeah, and I do agree with that. The sets themselves are really nice. I do want to make sure that's clear. But our number one concern here is that for aesthetics, it's not working. It's not matching. Number one, there's no progression between the pieces. There's very little. There's some, but there's very little progression. And the template format's just not working well with each of the sets. Let's take a look at cloth. Let's see where we stand with this. Alright, so cloth, let's take a look. We're going to go back to Night Elf, just so we get a 1-for-1. I actually think that I can use parts of that set on different transmogs. The chest is nice by itself. Yeah, and I think that's fine. You know, that's kind of what we want. Nikki, with all the little Edgar emotes and sound emotes, thank you. Let's see. As far as this is cloth, by the way. Something that I immediately like and am kind of drawn to are the boots. Like, you have the bones over the feet. You have runes on the boots. A lot of your other sets, the boots are kind of ignored, it seems. But these are really well done. Like, I like that. That's a lot of detail there. Want to buy socks? Yeah, maybe if they went through and they kind of put in a little bit more there. Hi, bud. Yeah, maybe socks. We'll do sandals and socks, right? Let's see. As far as the shoulders go and the gems, pretty similar stuff. So you have your runes that on your forearms that match your feet. Your gems, they all kind of match in color. There doesn't seem to be a lot of clipping going on for this guy. Ooh, really? Okay. So that little bone thing in the back, oh, that's nice. I like that. I actually like that. Let's see. Is our Edgar incoming? I wonder if the boots show up on the trolls. We can look and see. Here, let's do that. Let's take a look and see what happens on the trolls. The shoulders are incredible. This set's much more up my alley than the leather one. Yeah, this one's nice. Oh, look at that. They did cover the troll feet. Wow. Very well done. That's not bad. Now that makes me really want the plate set to have boots at this point in time. Now those look like proper bone sandals, right? Alright, so let's look at the arms once again. Alright, not bad. Matching colors, matching everything. Let's see, let's kind of move up the body here. Shoulders, once again, the front of the shoulders, you don't see it until you're looking behind, but the back of the shoulders have these little bones that are coming out of it, and I like it. That makes it look different, and different's nice in this sense. I actually really like this. Now again, the bone color of this back piece and the bone color of the sets do not match, and that's really that's really off a little bit. And Shadowstorm, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Is this cloth? Yes. I think for the cloth set, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I do like on his chin. It has like an Egyptian feel to it, to be honest. You have that little thing on his chin. The design along the side is hieroglyphic-esque, so it looks good. I like it. And of itself, you know, color-wise, set itself, not including the back piece. The set itself looks really nice. Let's look at it with tier 2. I think this would be better with tier 2. That's what I'm wondering. Oops, let's see. Oh, my bad, guys. I got pulled into the to the leather set again. I like that leather set. I think the icing on the cake is that hand on the shoulder has to go through and move on its own. I really hope they go through and do that. But anyway, let's take a look at this. Alright, so we're good there. I'm going to switch this to another, back to the Night Elf so we can just see. He moves too much as it is. We can actually make this guy still, I suppose. Alright, so back piece. Number 1, I like all of the bones everywhere back here. I think that's really, really neat. And it just seems undead, creaturely. I think it looks really good on a structural standpoint, but the color is off. The color's off. Like I said, I think if it was me, I would go through and I'd remake the tier 1, 2, and 3 back piece, match each plate, leather, cloth, mail set. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this, is that the hair's clipping. Yeah, it does a little bit. It does. This might be just because of the modeling here on Wowhead, so I'm not sure if that's something we'll see. Like, it clips on the top as well, so that might be just like a modeling issue. But but yeah, I'm gonna assume that's not what they're meaning to do there. But as far as the sets go, what's nice with this, okay, it looks like right now they might be getting their proportion and sizing set, because it does look like the back piece, the cloak we're calling it, does kind of interfere with the headpiece a little bit. Yeah, the helm's, I think overall the helm is, yeah, a little bit bugged. Hey, bud. But yeah, the short of this is that your tier 1, 2, and 3 do not match. And the problem with it is that I think you're going, because the colors don't match, and there's a lack of progression from gem to bone to bone to gem, as you're going from tier to 3, tier 1 to 3. And then there's color orientation. I think structurally and architecturally speaking, they look great. Like they look really good. We might have to get into the structure in order to bring in more crystals for this one, and then a little bit of crystals for that one. But structurally, design-wise, they look great. Color-wise, they're off though. They just look completely separate, and kind of like what Ken Owen said, maybe two different sets of artists made the two different pieces, but I would be on the verge of saying, and I don't really say it too often to kind of give you a feel for what I'm thinking here, but I don't think it looks good as far as the color separation, if that makes any sense. Alright, so let's finish off with the cloth for tier 3. Let's see, let's go with that one. There we go. And Angry, how are you doing? Let's see if we pull this way. Same thing as far as the color, so I won't dive into that too much. The color of the gems and the color of the back piece, they're close. But they're at least closer between the two different bone colors, to be honest. But the I mean, it looks good. All in all, like if to be honest, in my mind, I'm just kind of picturing all the colors matching, and if they did, my goodness, the set would look really good. Like, structurally speaking, they just match so well. That's really all there is to it. It is, if they could just nail down the color, that would look really good. Crystals on the shoulders, crystals on the back. Yeah. Yeah, if they could close in on those a little bit. But kind of similar to what you were saying earlier, Kenwin. Design-wise, they look very, very different, right? Because there's so much more design in this little floating crystal than there is in this shoulder one. They might need to do that for the sense of whatever the design limitations that they have as far as shoulders go. So I'd kind of get that, but I would say even more importantly then, you want to get the color right. Webb says I kind of like it. I do. Now, structurally speaking, color I still think is way off, but like if this was all the same color, I would very easily put this in the 9-10 category. But because the set just looks mismatched, I'm putting it like 5-6 category. Like, color is really important here in my opinion. Let's see, different artists did the work. One is being interrupted by kids. the other isn't. That's funny. I'm gonna have to remember that one. That's funny. Let's see. Shady says, can you show the plate 2 on the Worgen? Yeah, we'll take a look. We haven't seen any Worgen today, so let's see how that looks. Plate would be good to look at too. We'll do tier 2 plate on a Worgen, and we'll take a look for any sort of clipping. That's funny, kind of one. I'm gonna remember that one. All right. So the Worgen moves too much. Let me freeze him in spot because that's gonna get old quick. Let's see. As far as this goes, proportion wise, you know, helm to shoulders, that looks really good. I don't see a lot of clipping in the front. The leg plates on the sides of the thighs are pretty well set. They don't do boots, evidently, so we're good there. Again, though, I guess he does have like some sort of gloves, and then the Worgen have claws. I would like to see plate on the fingers, but that's all right. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be clipping on the back, but again, it's that color. It's that color. I would have taken. There's two things with plate now. So let's take a step back and kind of look at this. If we went through and we were trying to redesign this and touch it up, I would have this piece stay plate for plate. And what we'd do is we'd take the plate from the shoulders and make it really identical, really similar. Of course, we'd add our gems to it as well, to kind of give it that progression from, you know, 2 to 3 or 1 to 2. And then your bones would have to change the color as well to match the other bones. The other thing is that if we went and we looked at the leather side, this is where I'd go in and I'd take Vale's idea, where let's see, let's pause him here just so we don't have to deal with him. We would go through and we would take the entirety of the plate, remove it, and make it similar to the shoulders, and piecemeal it together with flesh and metal, and have almost the inverse of this, like have plate here, but then have your square patches of leather where these bones come out of. Again, incorporate some sort of gem, get the colors to match, and hopefully get some animation on those on that hand, like a clenched fist in anger, a friendly wave from time to time, or maybe it reaches for the helm and tries to pull it to the side every so often. Like that to me, I think would be neat. But again, I think at the end of the day, for the Necrolords, if I was going for quality, I would scrap the idea of trying to get a template of 1, 2, and 3 and try to match it with every single set. Like, to me, I think there should be 4 sets of tier 1, 2, and 3 cloaks. And I know that's not exciting to hear, as far as like if someone's boss was telling someone else to go through and make this another couple times, but I really think that would take it from the 5 or 6 that it's at now to that 9 or 10. You know, it's just, it looks piecemeal together, even on a set that should be in actuality a whole set. Especially if it's coming from the same covenant, you know? It's coming from the same source. Let's see, it punches the character in the face like it's trying to escape. Let's see. And Angel, how are you doing? Alright, so let's see, is there anything else as far as this goes? Let's go down to... Alright, so that's everything right now from the Necrolord. So, sets themselves, there's a little bit of clipping here and there. I think that's, you know, due to maybe the modeling thing that we're looking at. The Night Elf did seem to have a little bit of clipping. The sets overall, you know, we could always nitpick whether or not the sets should have plate gloves and what color the gloves should be. In this, with the plate set, yeah, this would all be like borderline, you know, more or less opinion at this point in time. Let's see, we'll do Night Elf. I think the biggest takeaway, again, for me personally, I think that the back pieces should be made for different armor types. Pretty much that's the best example. Is like if your plate's a square hole, your mail is a circular hole, your leather's a triangular hole. It looks like someone said, I can make all the pieces fit by just shaving a piece down to a really small size and throwing it in all the holes, and it fits in the sense that it functionally fits and structurally fits, but the color is way off. And again, I agree with Kenwin in the sense of the gem. There needs to be some level of progression from tier 1, there's no gems. Tier 2, there's no gems. There's a lot of bone. There's a lot more bone. And then all of a sudden, there's all gems on tier 3. So there does need to be a little bit of progression there. Let's see, but I get foot coverings for my trolls? Yeah, I'm surprised. Let me see. Let's see. Before we wrap this up, let's see if trolls get foot coverings for plate. That's gonna bother me a little bit if they don't. Not that makes a difference, but it will. Oh, hang on. Oh, look at that. Really? I wonder if that's going to stick. That looks good. That's fantastic. Good job, you guys at Blizzard. That's nice. Okay. I'm on board with the the Necrolord Covenant. Just again, the tier cloaks need a little bit more work. Structurally, only adjustment is that progression of smaller to larger crystals and recoloring. Biggest thing. A bit too covered. No, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. That looks good. That's nice. I have a Zenlord too. Alright, so just for the sake of the theme, let's take a look. Oh, look at that. That looks good. There's a little bit of a risk of clipping in the back, but as far as the leg plates, but I think that's fine. That's not a big deal. That looks like an absolute beast. The back piece kind of coincides with the color of the tusk a little bit more. But again, that looks good. They did the trolls good this time. I just wish that the coloring would change a little bit. Need to roll a third Zenlord. I know, right? So that's that. All right. Well, that looks good. Again, armor sets look good. All of them, as far as plate, mail, especially leather. Leather did really, really well. That was fun to look at. The cloth was nicely done. It's just the tier sets. The tier sets really need more work. They don't mesh with any of the sets at all. The color's off. There's no progression. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But I think we kind of get the point. But that's it, guys. So Necrolords are done. We'll leave it. Let's see. How does this look? We'll leave it like that for now. So yeah, the crystal's just a little bit off. The bones are off. Yeah, we get it. Okay. But all in all, you know, if you're playing your character and you're running behind it, and that's about what it looks like, that's nice. I do like the idea. I think the idea itself works really well. It's pretty clever. Going from the cloak to that. But just again, a little bit more of the technical color